I am 44 years old, and I've been incarcerated for 23 of those years for taking someone's life in a robbery gone completely wrong. Before I came to prison, I was a broken young man, insecure and unsure of who I was. I was ashamed of my intellect, so at times I shied away from using it. But this led to my long list of bad decisions, for which I'm accountable and take responsibility for. Those decisions have had a lasting effect on the ones that love me the most. Being honest, I want to change my ways without prison. And if I hadn't been locked up, eventually I would have been killed myself. So you can say prison was truly my saving grace. Although, when I first got to prison, my bad decision-making continued. I've tried every prison vice known to man. I've lied, stole, gambled. I've been in fights. I was doing everything except the right things. And the funny thing is, I've always known better. But for some reason or another, just refused to do better. On 3/29/2017, I found out my 15-year-old son had been shot in the head and was on life support. So many emotions flooded my body to the point I felt like I was drowning. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't focus. I felt dizzy. But it was my anxiety taking over because my worst fear had come true. When my son passed, only one person immediately came to mind, and that was the mother of the man I had murdered. During my trial, the court was placed into recess. I was being escorted back to the holding cell. I saw my victim's mother sobbing so violently that it was impossible for me not to notice her. But with my brokenness and my lack of conscience, I just walked right past her like it didn't bother me. But that mother's pain was the first thought that came to me as I sat on the phone while doctors and nurses unplugged my son from life support. I've never felt more pain, sadness, or emptiness. But no feeling was greater than my remorse and contrition for taking her son's life. I had finally felt that emotion that opened me up to true remorse once I was forced to endure that same pain I once inflicted. Even though I found remorse and contrition, to this day I still struggle with making amends. Honestly, I don't know where to start. I know saying I'm sorry isn't enough. I can't give an excuse for my actions because no one deserves to die like that. So nothing would justify my actions that night. I've written letters to his family over the years, apologizing for my wrong, but I've always been too afraid to mail them. I've been a different person since my son was killed. I redirected my focus, and I've started the necessary steps in order to correct my thinking and change my behavior. I've completed various cognitive programs in order to further my growth and my understanding. Now, being the parent of a murdered child is probably one of the worst things in the world. Being an imprisoned parent of a murdered child, much worse. At times, I felt alone. Like my feelings weren't really valid because I wasn't there for them growing up. It's like I'm less of a parent because of my circumstances, even though I still feel the pain of losing them every day. Trying to get a better understanding, I enrolled in Victims Impact, 13-week course that helps you learn about the impact crime has on victims and their families. A very powerful course. And for the first time, I was able to openly and honestly speak about my situation from both sides, being a victimizer and now a victim, but also taking into account the ripple effects that my actions had on the family of my victim, as well as the community I'm from. I needed that program more than any of the other programs that I've taken, and I really learned a lot from it. I graduated Victims Impact on a Monday, January 22nd, 2023. 5 days later, My 25-year-old son was murdered. So now the confusion sets in. I know I'm a better person. I no longer behave negatively. I have respect, empathy. I show compassion to those around me. So what have I not atoned for? What am I missing? Why do I now have 2 sons that have been murdered? So I ask myself, what do I do now? I know I've come too far to go backwards, so that's not even an option. So it's really only one thing to do, to keep fighting. Continue to be the man that both of my sons expect me to be. Continue to work so I can be the best father and papa my daughter and my grandchildren need me to be. I will continue to utilize those same tools that help heal my brokenness as I continue on this journey. I would like to one day be able to give back with community outreach, mentorship, to be an example of what bad decisions can land you. And I hope to be a voice to help prevent our youth from making those same bad decisions that I made. I appreciate you.